Good day, dear readers. This is the B-Side Book Reviews, and today we are going to look into a story that is just packed full, bursting at the bindings with drama, excitement, murder, violence, and more sexual things you can shake a sword at. Now, for dramatic effect, I have put on my puffy shirt, and for even more drama, I have brought out my long broadsword, which is kinda heavy, so I'll put it back down. Now, I just came home from the Alarm concert, so I'm pretty stoked because it was really rad, man. And anything else we said back in the 80s when the Alarm was popular. Actually, the lead singer of the Alarm looks like he could actually be a character in our Game of Thrones story. Before we say anything else though, beware, because the spoiler alert is very high. But this book's been around, it's been read by a lot of people. So you've either read it or someone who has read it has already told you about it. And let's not forget about the HBO series that's been running for God knows how long. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? I lost count. Anyway, and it's a very big book, by the way. So there's no way I can tell you everything that goes on in this story. So watch at your own risk. Get yourself something to drink. I have a hearty glass of... Actually, this is root beer. Anyway, let's look at the Game of Thrones. And bring out your sword. Or not. Everything is going pretty peachy for Eddard Stark. He's the Lord of Winterfell. And he lives in a cool castle with lots of servants and soldiers at his command. He has a loving wife, sons, daughters, and even a little bastard son he picked up somewhere. And of course, all of his close buds call him Ned. For home security, he's got this big icy wall north of him to keep the wildlings and the White Walkers and the rest of the common riffraff out of his hair. As an added bonus, he gets to chop off the head of the occasional deserter from time to time. Pretty cool, huh? Just what could go wrong? Well, his friend and former battle buddy, Robert, shows up one day with all the pomp and circumstance of royalty. After all, Robert Baratheon is the king of the Seven Kingdoms, and this, dear fans of the sword story, is when everything starts going south for Lord Stark. Yes, literally, south. South. You see, Robert's right-hand man, officially known as the Hand, accidentally drank some poison that someone pretty much poured down his throat. And now Robert the King wants Ned, the North Lord, to travel south to King's Landing to join in the fun of ruling the Seven Kingdoms. By the way, he also wants Ned's little girl Sansa to marry his pompous ass of a son, Joffrey Baratheon. However, this little punk ass is not really Robert's son. Instead, he is the product of his wife's sisterly love to her brother, Jaime Lannister. Yes, a family affection that has produced a couple of other kids as well. Oh my. King Robert is married into the very rich and, yeah, a little bit creepy Lannister family of Castle Rock. A family that makes everything in a daytime soap opera look pretty darn tame. Oh yes, Brooke Logan of the Bold and Beautiful fame has got nothing on Cersei Lannister, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and quite the royal skank. Indeed. Well, Ned can't say no to his old pal, King Robert. Well, actually, King Robert wasn't exactly asking him anyway. So, Ned packs up his daughters, and off they go to King's Landing. Of course, before Lord Stark can leave Winterfell, there has to be a little turmoil. And this turmoil comes when his young son Bronn breaks his back when he is pushed off a windowsill. Oh my, how did that happen? Well, it happens when he climbs up a tower and accidentally peeks into a window to see Robert's wife, the evil Cersei, doing the incestuous dirty with her little brother Jaime, who, by the way, is a knight of some nobility. Now, Ned may have a main son at home, but he also has a King Robert he must obey, and he heads south for King's Landing. Now, Ned's wife, Catelyn, well, she doesn't take matters quite so lightly. And as soon as Ned has vacated, she quickly accuses Cersei's other brother of trying to kill her son Bronn. And she takes her daughter's future uncle-in-law as prisoner. Now, Catelyn's new prisoner, who is also the king's brother-in-law, is named Tyrion Lannister. And unlike brother Jaime, he is neither a knight or sexually attracted to his sister. He is, however, a dwarf. But he is not a jolly, pipe-smoking, singing dwarf. Oh, no, no, no. This is the story of the Game of Thrones, not Snow White. So our Tyrion is more of a hard-drinking, womanizing dwarf who loves a good sarcastic one-liner as much as he likes a well-experienced, promising whore. Okay, is everything straight so far? You got the Lannisters, you got the Starks, and the Starks don't like the Lannisters, even though they're kind of getting married. It's kind of confusing, I know. Okay, so Ned goes to King's Landing and tries to govern the Seven Kingdoms, while King Robert drinks, hunts, and tries to mount every loose woman in the kingdom. Ah, yes, it's good to be king. Not so good to be the king's hun, though. You see, the kingdom is in a bit of a financial mess, and Ned starts to wish he was back home with his moody wife, beheading deserters. Of course, there's that little problem of Ned's wife holding the king's brother-in-law prisoner back home at Winterfell. Little tension around the dinner table those days, I would imagine. Not only that, but Ned is now starting to notice that King Robert's kids just don't look anything like him. And he begins to wonder why. Oh yes, there's trouble brewing across the ocean as well. Wandering around in the desert with his hot little sister is this other little whiny punk, Viserys Targaryen, who thinks that he should be the king of the Seven Kingdoms. Yes, his father was once the king of the Seven Kingdoms. Well, he was the king before Jaime Lannister killed him, so now Viserys is convinced he's going to be king and set on the Iron Throne. Called the Iron Throne because it's made from 1,000 swords, which I'm guessing is not the most comfortable of thrones. Regardless of the throne's comfiness, the whiny little punk ass still wants to sit there. Now, to secure his place on the Iron Throne, he is trying to get this army of horse-riding barbarians to join up with him. Unfortunately, Viserys has the brains and the personality of your average cockroach. But his little sister, Daenerys, is pretty easy on the eyes, and she's just blossoming into womanhood. So, what's a brother to do? Well, he pretty much pimps out his little sister to the king of these horsemen. And as the battle-hardened, macho-as-hell horseman king beds little sister Dany, as she's called, Viserys, the little whiny punk-ass brother, thinks he now has his army. Well, he pretty much has what he wants until he gets drunk one night and gets a little too punk-ass whiny. Of course, your average barbaric horseman warrior can only take so much punk-ass whininess, and he crowns a little whiny brat with a crown of pure gold. Well, I suppose it could be called a crown after the gold cools and hardens. Now, somehow being crowned with molten gold probably wasn't Varys' idea of becoming king. Yeah, and I'm guessing maybe not such a good way to go. No punky whininess. Oh well, stuff happens, and the world is one whiny punk-ass brat less. The little sister Dany, on the other hand, has now learned a few bedroom tricks, and pretty much has her macho man horse warrior husband eating out of her hand, among other things. Maybe she's not exactly the warrior princess we might expect in such a story, but Dany's talent in the sack now makes her the queen of the horseman horde. Well, she was going to be the queen until her man lets his battle wounds get infected and he dies. My. Major bummer there, Dany. Oh, what to do? Oh my, there is more problems and death in the Seven Kingdoms. Yes, King Robert is gored to death by a wild boar. What's worse is Ned finds proof that Robert's so-called son, Joffrey, is indeed the demon seed of incest. Well, before Ned can make a stink out of things, Joffrey and his scream on Cersei take the throne and behead our friendly Lord of the North. Now to stir up the pot, Ned's son and heir back at Winterfell, Robb, has basically declared war on King's Landing and anything in the South and anything to do with the Lannisters and pretty much anything and everyone. So, there's lots of fighting going on up there as well. Confused? Oh, don't sweat it. Just remember, everyone is trying to kill each other. And if they're not trying to kill each other, they're trying to sleep with each other. And everyone wants to sit on the Iron Throne. That's the name. Game of Thrones.